Hello, everyone. I'd like to be the first to welcome you to today's webinar, National Concussion Awareness Day Campaign Kickoff. I am Gina Petty. I serve as the Project Director of Concussion Awareness Now, and I would love to welcome you all to today's session. We're thrilled to have you here. And we can jump into our agenda. So today we are thrilled to be able to share with you a bit of an overview of Concussion Awareness Now, our National Concussion Awareness Day campaign, and our new resources to help you get started. I'm thrilled to have several guest speakers with us today who will be sharing later. Kazashe Marie, Julie Kobach, and Erin Bain. Welcome to all of our guest presenters. We are thrilled to have you here. And then we'll have a bit of time at the end for any questions. So everyone is on mute right now. If you have questions throughout the presentation, go ahead and put them in the question and answer box, and we will field as many questions as we're able to today. And rest assured that if we can't answer your question live on the air, we'll still get you the information that you need. Okay, so without further ado, I'd love to just share a little bit of background about Concussion Awareness Now. So we are trying to address the issue that over half of people who suspect that they might have a concussion never get it checked. And so we're really working at Concussion Awareness Now to change that narrative through public awareness and education. And so we are seeking to create a future where every person with a concussion receives a diagnosis, the best possible care, and the resources and information that they need. And so our work is really driven by creating awareness and education. Concussion Awareness Now is a coalition co-chaired by Brain Injury Association of America and Abbott, and we have a steering committee as well as general members, and together we are just working collectively to raise awareness. And we have a great, robust wealth of expertise on our coalition, and thrilled to have these great partners to help advance our goals. In addition to our coalition members, Concussion Awareness Now has a network of 3,000 and counting concussion awareness champions. And so I'd love for you all to take a second and go ahead and scan that QR code if you are not yet registered as a concussion awareness champion with us. It just takes a few seconds, and this really just gets you into our network of people who pledge to raise awareness in your community with your networks. We send all of the resources and tools that you might need right to your inbox. So please do go ahead and join us as a champion, especially as we go through the tools today. We will be sure to send a follow-up email to all of our concussion awareness champions after this session. So all of those resources will be included in that email to you. So please do make sure that you're registered with us. So National Concussion Awareness Day falls on the third Friday of every September. So this year will be recognized on September 20th. And this year's theme is Start the Concussion Conversation. So we are asking you as champions and supporters to join us in this effort by starting the conversation in your communities, whether it's online, offline, in person, or a combination of activities. So a few ideas that we will go a little bit more into depth shortly, but just to get started, how to start the conversation online, we would love for folks to invite your friends to join us as champions. That link that I just shared, send it around to your friends and family. Anyone that might want to be involved in this cause, please do share that opportunity with them. You can share our Concussion Awareness Now social media posts on your own network. This is a great way to help us spread the word and reach more people. Participate in the I'm Starting the Conversation challenge, selfie challenge, which I'll show you later. Record a video. We have a great, easy way to do that. Attend our champion rally on September 20th. So we're thrilled that you're here today for our campaign kickoff. We would love for you to join us on National Concussion Awareness Day on September 20th for our rally as well. So please do make sure that you share that opportunity and join yourselves as well. fundraise for the cause. We'll share a little bit more about that opportunity in a bit as well. And then other ways that you can start the conversation in person are things like commit to talking, having a conversation with a family member or a close friend, sharing information with them, sharing a resource. Hang posters or leave resources in community settings like your local library, your school, or other community location. Or host an in-person activity. This could be something like setting up a presentation at your school or community center, or having an awareness table in your community where you're sharing concussion awareness information with the public and other supporters. So this is an example of our concussion conversation selfie challenge. All of these tools are also going to be available on our Concussion Awareness Now website for easy download and printing. But again, we will send them in a follow-up email too, so you don't, no worries if you need to access it later. But these are two printables. I'm starting the conversation because, or I'm starting the conversation with, and you can customize it, write down or type in how you're starting the conversation and customize it to your own story. Take a selfie. Make sure you tag Concussion Awareness Now on social media, and we'd love to share that because everyone has a powerful message, and whether that's how you're starting the conversation or with whom or however, you know, whatever other information you'd like to share, it's all important. And so your participation could also inspire others to participate. So we're really trying to generate a lot of participation on social media. You can choose to record a video. And so some ideas around how to record your video are here with recording tips. We're really looking for some short videos that we can share easily on social media to, again, spread the awareness of why concussion awareness is important. So we have some suggestions up here on the slide, why it's important, what National Concussion Awareness Day means to you, sharing your story, how you're starting the concussion conversation. All of these are just ideas, but we encourage you to be creative. We have a really easy way to submit a video that will be included in that email that we send to you as well. But just for some inspiration, here are our guest speakers' videos that I wanted to share.
Hey friends, Concussion Marie here. Concussion Awareness Day is important to me because
That was our awesome first video. Thank you, Kazushi. And here is another video that Teal College created.
Hey friends, Concussion.
Oops, sorry.
Gina, we're getting some comments that the audio is not working.
Oh no. Okay. Apologies. So apologies if the audio is not working. Sometimes it's spotty. So we will be sure to send these links in the follow-up email as well so that you can see them. So apologies. Thank you for that. Okay. So we will be sure to send that information about how to record your own video, and we would love to share them on the Concussion Awareness Now social media, our Instagram reels, you know, really, again, just trying to creatively share the importance of why concussion education and awareness is important. These are some other tools that are newly developed for this campaign. So for champions, we have this how you can get started with the concussion conversation. This is a one-pager really to give you an overview of some ideas to get started in raising awareness in your community. And then there's also this event planning list. And so when we think about events, this again can really span a wide variety of different activities. It could be setting up a presentation, hosting an awareness day on campus. It can really be in between, there's a continuum of different ideas. And so within this event planning tip guidelines, we have different ideas and tips and suggestions that might assist you if you are choosing to do an in-person event. If you are planning to do an in-person event, we would also love to hear about it so that we can ensure that we're providing support and resources to you beyond this. And so if you are able to circulate, we have a form that we're circulating. Lauren, I'm not sure if that is working now. I see your note in the chat. If it's not, then we can send it later. But we do have an online form that we're asking champions to tell us about your event. Once you have an idea of what you might be doing, we do have some opportunities to send you some supplies like giveaways and things that you might want to have at your table. Where you can give your audience or your participants some giveaways and some information. So wanted to just share that opportunity as well. And then we also have this new resource that we've developed called Conversation Starters. And so this is a resource that really goes into an overview of concussion, facts, myths, statistics, really just to educate others. There is a quiz at the end of it that you as champions are welcome to make copies of, share it with your anyone that comes to your booth, goes to a presentation, or just share it individually with people that you're connected to. Share it with a friend or a group of friends, or you're at a family dinner, just to really, again, get the conversation started around what people know about concussion and what are the myths. And I think that a lot of times these kinds of myths and facts also spark additional conversation around, what they've learned and what they didn't know, and what surprised them about concussion. And so these are really just conversation starters to, again, share in your communities and networks. We've also developed a presentation template that's a PowerPoint template that you can download right off of our website, and we'll also send you the link directly. But this is for anyone that is interested in providing a PowerPoint, a slide deck to add a presentation. It goes over all of kind of the basics, an overview of concussion, as well as information about how to get support and seek medical care, which is really important. It includes a section of the quiz for audience engagement. And there are sections within it that the presenter can customize with their story, their concussion, connection to concussion, and their personal story, if they wish to customize it. So that is another resource that we've created for this campaign. We also have a great library of existing tools and resources in the Concussion Awareness Now library. And so these are also already available on our website. We have a variety of posters, infographics, PSAs, lots of great engaging materials. So we definitely encourage you to utilize all of those great resources that are already available, in addition to the new resources too. And I would also like to turn it over now to my colleague Paula from BIAA, who will walk us through a different opportunity that we have around fundraising this year to support concussion awareness. Thanks, Paula.
Yeah, absolutely, Gina. Thanks so much. So as concussion awareness champions, we know that you are so passionate about this cause. So wanted to give you the opportunity to really rally your networks to support you and give gifts in honor of this incredible passion that you have. So we have a really simple and intuitive online fundraising tool that you can set up easily and customize a website to make requests of your friends and family for support for this incredible mission. So with this website, you can customize it for and add your picture, your story, share why this is so important to you and why you've decided to support Concussion Awareness Now. Then you can send that link to your friends and family, post it on your social networks, and just any of the work you're doing around concussion awareness that Gina's already reviewed, you can include this link. If you're hosting an event, even you can ask for donations to support this work. It's really easy to get started. I believe Lauren's going to put the link in the chat. So we'll do that. And then we'll also include follow-up information in the email that'll come out after the call today. So, and just to have a little bit of fun, we always have fun and fundraising. So we're going to be sending a little Concussion Awareness Now swag kit to the first 25 people who raise $200. So just a little fun to get everybody motivated and excited to get their pages set up, customize those pages and sent out to their networks. So thank you so much for considering this. Obviously, all of this great work does take some resources to make happen, and we appreciate your help in helping us get there. So thanks so much. Back to you, Gina.
Great. Thank you, Paula. So we have a lot of different tools and resources. And so we really did that intentionally so that folks can decide how you'd like to best participate and support the campaign. So we really tried to be mindful of creating tools that would be relevant to a lot of different situations and interests to participate. It's really open to anybody. Again, a champion is anybody who wants to support the cause. So we have a network of champions that are survivors, caregivers, anybody interested in the cause. We also have a large group of professionals who are champions. So it's really open and flexible with how you're able to participate. So I just wanted to encourage you to think about creatively what makes most sense for you with all of the different tools and resources. So without further ado, I would like to pass this to our guest speakers who will be sharing with us some great tips, guidance, and just great best practice suggestions of how they have successfully raised awareness and in their personal experience. And so our first guest speaker I would love to introduce is Kazoshe Marie. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Kazoshe Marie. I am a speaker, a content creator, and an advocate. In May of 2017, I was struck by a car traveling 48 miles per hour and sustained numerous injuries. And one of those, of course, was a concussion, the effects of which I live with every day. But that really caused me to be emboldened and impassionate, that's not a word, passionate about advocating for this issue. So I'm excited to be here today, and I'm going to share some tips about speaking. And we've already heard some great ways to get involved, but I'm also going to share some other ways to educate others. So first up, it's really important to keep in mind that you do not have to be a professional to begin speaking and advocating. A lot of people, I think, are hesitant to begin speaking because they think that they either have to do it professionally or they need some kind of professional training to be able to do it. But that's really not true. The fact of the matter is that just showing up and that your heart is in the right place, that's really what's most important rather than seeming really polished when you speak. And people are going to get a lot out of what you're saying and what you're sharing, even if you've never been professionally trained to speak. So that's really important to keep in mind. And second, it's really important to use your own personal uniqueness. No one is you, and that is your advantage. After the accident where I sustained the concussion, the brain injury, and then decided to start speaking about my experience and advocating, I was kind of like, well, I'm not a Tony Robbins, I'm not a Brene Brown, so people are not going to want to hear from me. But that's not true. Even using the example of those two speakers, Brene Brown is going to appeal to a certain audience of people, and Tony Robbins is going to appeal to a different audience of people. And so the same would go for you. People aren't there to see them. They're there to see you and hear you speak. And your own unique way of sharing is what's going to resonate with certain people. And so that's important to keep in mind. So don't be afraid to show your quirkiness or your humorous side, whatever personality traits that you have. Your audience can sense that authenticity and who you are as a person specifically. And that is really your superpower as a speaker. And next, it's important to keep in mind that it is totally okay to be afraid. There is nothing wrong with that. And you may have heard about the concept of toxic positivity, where it's like your default is to just always try to put a positive spin on something no matter what. And that can actually end up causing more harm than good. But I feel like we sometimes suffer from something I like to call toxic confidence, where we get caught up in this vicious cycle of feeling nervous and not wanting to appear looking like we're nervous. And so then that makes us more nervous. And it's like a vicious cycle that we just get caught on. And it's difficult to get out of. But really, who cares if your voice cracks or if your hand shakes? That doesn't matter. The fact that you're there and showing up and advocating, that's what's important. And I usually try to share in all of my speaking engagements that I do actually have anxiety, especially after the concussion, the brain injury. It's something that I deal with every time. And every time I speak, I experience that anxiety, but I still show up. And so the fact that you're scared, but you still show up, that's going to also empower other people to know that, okay, if I'm afraid, then I can get up and I can do it too. So it's all right to be afraid. And then another tip is that practice makes perfect. This is pretty simple and straightforward. The more you do it, the easier it will become. Like anything else in life, the more you exercise it, the more you practice, the better you'll become at it. It's just like, an Olympian that is training in gymnastics for the competition. The more you speak, the more comfortable you'll become with doing it. And then a bonus tip that's really good to always keep in mind is to think about your why. Speaking and advocating, even when you're nervous or perhaps uncomfortable, can be much easier when you keep in mind why you're doing it in the first place. Do you have personal experience with concussions? So you want to make sure that other concussion survivors have the same resources in order to be able to help them? Or do you have children or nieces and nephews who play sports and you want to make sure that all families know about how to protect themselves from sustaining concussions? So rather than imagine the audience in their underpants, which is a common a common bit of advice, you can just take a moment to kind of meditate and think about your why, and that will be something that will help you to be able to go the distance when you're advocating and speaking. Okay, we'll go into the next slide, please. And we're going to talk about some ways to educate others. We already heard about some really great resources and ideas, so I just want to highlight a few more. One, it's a good idea to use your experience. Similar to speaking, your unique experiences can be a tool for how to educate others about concussions. Are you a skateboarder, an artist, etc.? You can start with a list of your hobbies to give you some ideas about who you might be able to reach and also how you might be able to reach them. For instance, if you're a skateboarder, maybe you can make some short videos about protecting your brain while you're skateboarding. If you're an artist, you could create art that educates about concussion awareness and safety. And the Concussion Awareness Day, Concussion Awareness Now website, as we heard earlier, is a great resource. It has all the information there for you, which is really nice. So it's easy to just plug it into whatever you come up with as far as how you want to share and educate about the issue. And another tip is to use your network. There are people and organizations that you may already know or be a part of that could help you spread the word about concussion awareness. For example, your kids' sports team association, and not just the team itself, but the actual local association. This is another opportunity to get creative, and you can make a list of things that you're currently involved in. For instance, an alumni association, a pickleball league. Really, there's all kinds of different areas that you could take that in. And you can start small. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But this is a really important issue. So the broader the audience, the better. But whatever you're comfortable with is still going to be very impactful. Even if you're just talking to one person, that's really impactful and very important work as well. And while we're on the subject of using your network, you can ask your friends and your colleagues and your family members if they would also be willing to help and get involved as well. Many hands make light work, so that would be a really great way to help educate others or educate others about concussions, to have more people on board and to help you out to be able to do that. And then another tip for educating others is to try to think of ways to make it worth their while. And people and organizations are always going to be more likely to say yes if you can present it in a way that the opportunity is going to also be beneficial to them. For example, let's say you go to your job and say, I'd like to have our company sponsor a concussion awareness event. It will give us a positive brand recognition because it shows that we care about the community. So when you present it in that way, they may be more likely to get on board with it because they can see that it's going to benefit them as well. And if you're also able to highlight the fact that the website really already has all the resources that you need that are readily available for you to use, I think that also makes it more desirable because much of the work has already been done for you. So that's really great. And another idea to educate others is to get social. And this is possibly one of the easiest ones to be able to educate others about concussion awareness. Making posts for your friends and followers to see is really simple and can be done anytime from anywhere and without really too much effort on your part, although you can make the post as elaborate as you want to. It's up to you how you want to go about that, but it's very simple. It could be a very easy way to get that information out there. And don't ever think that you have to have a really large number of followers to have an impact. You may not think 10 likes is very much. It seems like a small number, but if you stop and imagine 10 people standing in front of you right now that you're speaking to about concussion awareness, that would seem like a lot. So 10 people, even if it's one person, that's still one person that knows more about concussion awareness, and that person will tell another person, and so it will continue to have a rippling effect. So don't ever think that you have to have a ton of likes or followers to still be impactful when you're sharing on social media. Another thing is to think outside the box. You can see what's already established and see if you can just plug in concussion awareness to what already exists. For example, sports tournaments would be a really easy one, or health fairs. Those are both very logical situations where concussion awareness would have a easy place to be able to fit in there with those events. You could bring the resources and share about concussion awareness at either one of those locations or events. And a lot of my speaking engagements have been at events or with organizations that actually had nothing to do with concussions or brain injuries or even disability, but I was able to get creative and make it relevant to that particular audience. For instance, I talked about making space settlements accessible for individuals with disabilities at the National Space Society's International Space Development Conference. And I do not have a background in space. I do not have a background in science, but I do have experience with being disabled and having a brain injury. So I was able to make that particular issue relevant to that audience, even though it didn't necessarily, from the outside, look like it was something that made sense to be there. Just thinking about ways that you could be able to tailor your message to that particular audience, thinking outside the box. You could also try presenting or having a table at different cultural festivals. Back home in Alaska, where I'm from, we have the Alaska Highland Games, where people come to participate in traditional Scottish games going back, millions of years. But I think that would be a great place to talk about concussions. It may not be something that would necessarily obviously be a place to have that there, but thinking about those outside the box ideas, cultural festivals or things like that could be one of them. Because really concussions can happen anywhere and to anyone at any time. So there's always a way to try to plug it into wherever you're at or whatever you're thinking of event-wise. You could even set up a stand outside of a restaurant or outside of the mall, just like the Girl Scouts do. You don't have to be aggressive in your tactics at all. Just have your information on the table and just saying hi to people. The theme this year of Concussion Awareness Day being starting the conversation. That's really all it is. So when you think of it in those terms, that's really all you're trying to do, to start that conversation. Just starting the conversation is really important, and that's really the first step. And the melon people are really eye-catching. It's a really fun and engaging way to get people involved. And so when people see that, they're going to want to know more about it. So it's great that those resources are available to you. And if they ask you a question that you don't know the answer to, that's okay too. You're not expected to know everything, but you can direct them back to the Concussion Awareness Now website because, again, they have all of those wonderful resources. So I hope that those gave you some ideas to feel confident about sharing and educating with others. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what everyone comes up with this year. Thank you.
That was so great. Thank you so much, Kaz for all these wonderful tips and tricks and pointers. It's just fantastic. Thank you. So our next speakers, I'd like to welcome Julie Kobeck and Erin Bain from Teal College, who are going to share a bit about how they planned an event around concussion awareness on their campus.
Hi, everybody. I'm Julie Koback, and I am a speech language pathologist. I am a certified brain injury specialist, and I am a professor at Teal College. And I work with a wonderful team. And just to put us on the map, Teal College is a college in Greenville, Pennsylvania. So that's Western PA. And we have just under 1,000 students on our campus. And I serve on a wonderful team. We actually have a concussion management team at Teal campus. And I brought one of my co-team members with me, Erin Bain. She'll introduce herself in a second. And the reason we have this team, just to preface that, the NCAA does have guidelines in terms of concussion management. And this is mandated. So any college team needs to have these guidelines in place. However, not all campuses have an interprofessional team such that we have in place. I'm not going to talk about everybody on the panel or on the team as you see here, but we do cover a broad range of departments, and we work closely with the athletic department to help support our students who are in having concussions. So one of our initiatives, in addition to meeting monthly at least to talk about the students who are currently under protocol and dealing with a concussion, is that we are trying to advance the awareness of concussion on campus, because the statistics show that most brain injuries do not occur in the setting and the context of athletics. So we are possibly not servicing all of the students who may have concurred an injury. So we want to make sure we reach the entire campus as well as the surrounding community. And to do that, last March, one of our events was on during Brain Injury Awareness Month, was to hold a day where it was actually a 2-hour event during our common hour on campus. And to promote that, we used many of the wonderful resources. We have to give a shout out again to Concussion Awareness Now, because we jumped on the theme of the Mellon Pledge and the Mellon Head family. And we just sprinkled that throughout our whole campaign to advertise. We created flyers that were printed and put all around campus. We had emails go out, our newsletter that goes out to campus, to students, faculty, staff, and the community. We posted on social media. So we had a really great event of over 150 people attended our event. And if you go into the next slide, we had multiple activities for this about an hour and a half event. The students and the faculty were able to choose which activity they wanted to do. One of those was called Crash Course. It was a short film. We utilized multiple resources to put on this event. This one happens to be done by Stanford University. They used their the Stanford Neurosurgery virtual reality team, put this wonderful set of resources together to create these short films. This one happens to star the Stanford football team, including the Heisman Trophy runner-up Bryce Love. And they do a wonderful job of explaining concussion and explaining symptoms and explaining the action items that should happen when a student. So many of the students filed in and they got their bag of popcorn that was and their melon punch, and they were able to watch this short film. It was about 10 minutes. And the next slide. In addition to that, I'm going to turn it over to Erin, who's going to tell you a little bit about our trivia wheel.
Yeah, so just like what Julie had said before, we really enjoyed and loved everything that the Concussion Awareness Now website had to offer. I mean, we did utilize the infographics, the posters, informational pieces in the literature that we could get to utilize for this event. So here you'll see pictures of the trivia wheel where I did pull information from the Concussion Awareness Now campaign and the Brain Injury Association of America, because it was important, even though it was interactive and this was fun for the students. We wanted to leave the students with information about concussions. What is a concussion? What do you do if you get concussed? what are the symptoms? Who do you talk to? Those important pieces we wanted to, we wanted to start the conversation. We wanted to leave them with the conversation still going when they met with clubs, when they met with their peer athletes, when they were in the classroom. So yes, it was an educational experience, but yet it was light, it was fun. They were going to take with them information to utilize well after the fact. And then we had a wheel, they could get tickets for prizes afterwards. So there was yet another incentive there that we utilized. So the next slide, again, we love everything from the website that we gathered. So we did take the Mellon Pledge wall. So students had the opportunity to do selfies and post them to social media. This was a hit amongst the students. So SLP, speech and language pathology, grad students helped with this table. So students came over, they took the Mellon Pledge, they were able to sign the card, and then they put the card on that back board there that you see in that second picture. So again, we had infographics there. There was information again about concussions. They were able to have a conversation with other students. And then we also had a basket of candies that had the concussion awareness management team and had our information on it. So not only did we talk about concussions and taking the Mellon Pledge and promoting the concussion awareness now information, but we also were able to promote that we have a team on campus to support students in any way and we can and to have their needs met.
And another cute and fun interactive thing we did was, and this is yet another great resource that is out there. It's these are concussion goggles, and they're made by a company called Fatal Vision, and they simulate the effects of concussions such as dizziness, visual changes, disorientation, hesitation, confusion. So we set up some physical activities that the students had to do. You see me here, I'm trying to shoot baskets with the concussion goggles on, and it was actually quite challenging. So you do get a sense of what kind of, symptoms can occur. The students enjoyed that, again, hands-on, but yet it was educational. So not every person experiences concussion in the same way. So this was just another opportunity to open that conversation about what are your symptoms? What happened to you? Oh, this happened to me. I felt this. So another great activity. Next slide. And then just another, takeaway for them to have a visual reminder. They made Mellon keychains, and our psychology department got engaged. They created these little kits, and the students got to take them. And then you see that might, hey, why do you have that watermelon keychain? What is that all about? So the Mellon keychain, yet another way or a physical reminder to start that conversation. Next slide.
Okay, self-explanatory, right? Food. How do you engage others and get others into, what you want to be doing, especially with college students? You have food. So we loved, the melon theme, and we ran with it. So we had the melon candies. As Julie said before, we had melon punch. We had a popcorn bar with the popcorn machine and the different seasonings, and the popular one was watermelon seasoning. We had watermelon lollipops. That kept the students going again and engaged. Like, why is everything watermelon? We're talking about your melon and how to keep it safe. So that was just another piece you know, of our awareness day.
So I'm going to just wrap up with some of the tips that we have. So number one, you don't have to do this alone. You know, solicit some partners in this. You know, we happen to have already had a team in place, and this was just a perfect way for us to branch out and to really get us known on campus. We are still in the process of, it's an ongoing process. And have a plan. So we met frequently to get this going and to kind of have action items. So it's really nice to see that the Concussion Awareness now has a checklist for you because that keeps you on task, and divvying and, you know, distributing those responsibilities was great. Of course, advertising, you know, we wouldn't have had the bodies there if we didn't really make an effort to, you know, promote it and get it out there and use all those materials. Anything hands-on, as you I think you clearly saw us trying to make it interactive so that you engage multiple senses and ways of learning. And then using your creativity, as Kazushi said, we, you know, relied on multiple ways and resources, trying to engage the students, trying to come up with fun ways. It was so much fun to like, let's do this, let's have little squishy brains next time. So there's so many things, that ideas to bounce off. And as we said, food it's just always a good way to grab people and get them engaged. So we want to thank again Concussion Awareness Now for giving us this opportunity to engage and to share our story.
Thank you so much, Julie and Erin. That was amazing. I loved all of the fun activities that you planned, and what an impactful event. So just really inspiring from both your team and Kazushi. So thank you both so much. Thank you all for joining us today and sharing your expertise with us. I know we have just a few minutes left, so I just wanted to open it up for, I know we've been getting some questions. We will do our best to address some that have come in, and then as I said, we'll make sure that we get you an answer to any remaining questions. But one of the questions that's come in, and I think Kazushi, you addressed this a bit, but one of the questions that I'd love to open up with is from someone who's asking, how do you get started in finding places to speak at? If you're interested in doing a presentation, where might you go to set that up?
So two things I would suggest. One is, again, to kind of look at your network and see what things you might be involved in, or you know, organizations that you might be connected with already, and see if they might have opportunities for you to come and speak. Even if there's not necessarily an event that they already have, it might be something that you can put in place yourself to speak there. And then also, the internet is a really great resource. There's a lot of information out there, but if you even just Google calls for speakers, that will give you a list of different organizations and events that are coming up to be able to apply to speak at. So those are my two tips.
Awesome, thank you. I also just wanted to say that I think you probably can see the chat, but you're all getting a lot of accolades and grateful comments. So again, just thank you all for being here and all the great information you're sharing. Another question that came in that I would just love to share with the group is and clarify is, there was a question around where we're trying to seek to raise awareness, and you know, across different regions, and so the answer is, we are trying to spread the word as far and as wide as we can. So in your local community, in your state, in your town, in your school, you know, really just thinking about what makes sense for you as an awareness champion. We would love to see every state on the map, you know, have an activity where someone has shared that they are hosting something or doing a presentation or something. So we'd love to just have as much reach as possible. So I just want to clarify that. We're getting a couple of questions around accessing the information. So all of the tools and resources are available on the Concussion Awareness Now website on the resources page. If you filter it by awareness tools, you'll see all of the new ones posted there, as well as our full library of resources. But we will be sending a follow-up email as well as the link to this recording. So if you would like to view it again or refer back to it, that will be available to you as well. And then I think one other question that has come in was how to start the conversation with within your family and networks too. So just kind of thinking about any specific tips when you're thinking about, you know, doing a public presentation versus having a more intimate conversation with family and friends that you might have some tips about.
Sure. I think this is where kind of your individual personality might come into play. What kind of situations may come up that you can just kind of plug in and say, okay, well, this is we're going on a car drive, so where might be a time where you might get a head injury while you're driving, so you can bring up some tips about concussion awareness. Maybe I'd say just look for those everyday kind of opportunities to bring it up. If you're going to see, someone in your family or a friend to go play sports, a kid's sports team, that might be an opportunity to also bring up concussion awareness. I think there are always ways to bring it up within your family and with your friends. If you're just kind of looking for those ways where it might come up, I think there's a lot that can present itself in those times.
Great, thank you so much. I hope that we're at time, so I do want to start to close this out, but I do hope that that everyone found today informative and helpful. I've loved having our guest speakers here with us today. And again, we'd just love to hear from you all as champions, what your plans are, how might you use these tools and resources to start the conversation in your own communities. So next steps, please do, think about how you might start the conversation, the concussion conversation. Share your plans with us. Please do fill out that form just so that we can check in with you and provide you with additional tools and resources should you need it. I definitely encourage you to use all of our tools and resources at your disposal on our website and what will be emailed. And I'd also love for you to save the date to join us for our next webinar event, which will be on September 20th, National Concussion Awareness Day at 2 p.m., where we will be joined by Dr. Brooke Mills, who is the founder of National Concussion Awareness Day, as well as featuring some of the great work and creative ideas that you all as champions are doing to raise awareness. So definitely tune in and share with us. And in the meantime, we're just anxious and excited to hear about all of the great plans that you have. So I wanted to again thank all of our guests and my colleagues at BIA for assisting us today and everyone's participation. And thank you all for joining, and we will see you again soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.